and acceleration of the angle, and that is equal to the difference of the mechanical power and electrical power, and this is equal to accelerating power. And it is this difference, whenever there is a difference either on the mechanical power side or on the electrical power side, so it will result into some amount of some magnitude of acceleration. It could be a deceleration as well if this power becomes more than this one mechanical power. So there could be an acceleration power or deceleration power, right? So thus the rotor will accelerate under the constant influence of non-zero accelerating power, and thus the rotor angle will increase. Uh, However, it is important to know what is the reclosing time we require for uh, circuit breaker, and thus the circuit breaker should close at something at this angle, right? And then for whenever there is a disturbance, if you recall the electrical power, let's say that as I said, if the electrical power becomes greater than mechanical power, so in that case you may have deaccelerating power, so this power will be negative here, so thus the machine will deaccelerate. So it is not always you say it is acceleration, but there could be a deacceleration as well. uh, However, due to the inertia of the rotor masses of the turbine and the generator, the rotor angle will keep on increasing. So, because we have a net difference, and if there is a deviation in the rotor angle change, that means, yeah, acceleration of the rotor angle because of this accelerating power. So we would be interested to know how does the rotor angle is varying with respect to time after system being subjected to some disturbance. Yeah, and so thus we have a term referred as swing curve. So swing curve is nothing but you can see that on the y-axis you have the delta, and on the x-axis you have the time. So it is the swing curve, which is actually a plot. The curve being plotted between the rotor angle and the time here, right? And this variation of the rotor angle you can achieve by solving the swing equation here. And as you can see in the figure here, uh, we have actually two different forms of angle variation. So in this case, you observe in the figure A, you observe that rotor angle reaches to the peak here, and thereafter it drops down, right? So it falls back here further. And then again, what you find that there is a swing. There is a swing of rotor angle, but this peak, it is of a smaller magnitude than the first one. So because this is the first peak here, or this is the first swing, actually you can say, right? So with respect to the peak of the first swing, the peak of the second swing is actually smaller. So it can be expected. That's what I'm saying. It can be expected, but not confirmed. It can be expected that uh, after being subjected to disturbance because of the accelerating power, rotor angle will swing to the maximum angle at this time, and then again it may swing back, right? It may swing back, and then since uh, the next swing peak is of a smaller magnitude, then it can be expected that rotor angle will damp out, and then it can settle down to the new operating point. Let's say it is this one. This is how we define the stability. If you remember, by the definition of the stability, power system stability, it is the ability of the electrical power system operating at initial operating point, all right, operating at initial condition, to change to new state of equilibrium after being subjected to some disturbance. So after being subjected to a disturbance, we find that angle will swing, and then after certain time rotor angle will settle down to new state of equilibrium. So that is new operating point here now. So that is the stability here. If in case following the disturbance, right, rotor angle simply does not, as you can see here, because just see, rotor angle increases, but here it comes back, because you can see the tangent of the curve. All right, the tangent of the curve, and at this point you find here that this becomes 0. That means d delta by t becomes 0. That means it reaches constant here. So if in case uh, in your study, if you find that the d delta by dt becomes 0 at a given time, so it is probable, there is a probability that rotor angle will swing back. But if in case you find that there is a, as in this figure, you find that with respect to time, rotor angle keeps on increasing. All right, there is a linear change. Let's say d delta by dt. There is a linear increase in the d delta by dt. It does not reach to this condition, d delta by dt becoming 0. If this condition is not met, then it is understood that delta is actually increasing with respect to time. And this is the case of a instability in the system here, right? And that case, rotor angle will keep on increasing indefinitely, and then the system would become unstable, right? Then here we have different methods how we perform the stability analysis. And mainly, as I said, we are referring the transient stability analysis of rotor angle, right? And it is with the swing curve. So there are different methods how we can analyze it. And the first one is the time domain simulation method. So presently, the most of the methods which is available for stability analysis, they are based on time domain simulation, for which we have the use of nonlinear differential equation. Because if you refer the swing curve, right? Swing curve equation, if you refer, it is a nonlinear differential equation. All right. And that, so by solving the nonlinear differential equation by another numerical techniques, you can say, uh, having a step-by-step method. So that is one way how we can perform the time domain simulation, or that is the analysis for transient stability here. So some other methods, you can say it as direct methods. They do not actually refer to solving the differential equations here. And in fact, can you say what is ESC here? What does the ESC stands for? I have written a ESC is a direct method. What is this ESC? Last semester we have studied equal area criteria. So this is equal area criteria. This is a direct method that we have, but again it is limited only for SMIB system or two machine system. So we cannot have it for a larger system, with several buses. All right, so equal area criteria is one of the direct method for transient stability analysis, but it can be only for SMIB system, or can be only for two machine system here, but not for several machine system in the network. It cannot be for that. So if I say that, let's say you have generator 1, generator 2, generator 3, generator 4, and generator 5, and so on, and you want to, and let's say that there is some disturbance, right? And now you want to see that whether the generator 1 will be stable, generator 2 will be stable, 3 will be stable, 4 will be stable, 5 will be stable or not. That is not possible by this method, because here you want to be very clear that the stability for each of the generator in the network, and thus equal area criteria cannot be applied for those cases, for if you want to have the stability analysis for more than two number of the generators in the network, then definitely you have to use time domain simulation method, following the differential equation solving here, right? uh, then I think maybe in the mathematics course